Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something right now. Life will teach you that not everything is meant to be told, not everything is meant to be shared, and not everybody is worthy of knowing your business. See, sometimes we get so excited, so caught up in trying to be real or trying to connect with people that we forget there are parts of us that are sacred, personal, and not up for public consumption. And if you don't learn how to protect those parts of your life, people will misuse them, twist them, and sometimes even use them against you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just start by telling you this. Family is the foundation of who you are. That's your blood, that's your backbone. That's the people who saw you before the world even knew your name. But here's the thing, every family, and I mean every single one, has problems. Don't get fooled by social media. Don't get distracted by what you see on TV, because behind every smiling Christmas photo, behind every Sunday dinner picture, there's something going on. But here's where wisdom comes in. Your family problems don't belong in the streets. They don't belong in the mouths of strangers. They don't belong in casual conversations, because once you let those details out, you can't pull them back. See, family disagreements, family arguments, family struggles, they normal. It might be your mom and dad not seeing eye to eye, your siblings fighting over something petty, or your cousin who can't seem to get it together. But the truth is, when outsiders hear about it, they don't see the love, they don't see the loyalty, they don't see the history that binds y'all together. They only see the drama, and people love to run with drama. You tell somebody your brother's going through a rough patch, and before you know it, the whole town's talking like he's ruined for life. You share that your parents had an argument, and suddenly outsiders think your whole household is falling apart. They don't understand the bounce back. They don't understand forgiveness. And they sure don't understand the strength that family has to rebuild. Let me tell you something. When you open your family doors to the wrong people, you invite judgment. And judgment spreads fast. One story turns into 5 stories. And before long, people are speaking on things they don't know, making assumptions, and sometimes straight up lying. And while they laughing and gossiping, your family's name is being dragged through the mud. That's why you got to keep your circle tight. When there's an issue, you solve it in-house. You talk to the people involved, not to everybody else. Now, I know some of y'all might be thinking, but Steve, sometimes I just need to vent. I need to get it off my chest. And I get it. We all need somebody we could talk to. But that somebody better be wise, loyal, and trustworthy. That better be somebody who has your best interest and your family's best interest at heart. Because if you're telling your business to somebody who loves drama, you might as well grab a microphone and announce it to the world. That's how quick it spreads. And let me remind you, family problems are temporary. You might argue today, but you'll hug it out tomorrow. You might fall out for a week, but deep down that love is still there. Outsiders don't understand that. They don't know the inside jokes, the childhood memories, the times y'all had each other's back when nobody else did. So they can't interpret your family dynamic the way you do. What looks like a breakdown to them might just be a regular Tuesday for y'all. And in a few days, everything is back to normal. But now, because you shared it, outsiders keep holding on to it long after you've moved on. Your family deserves your protection. They deserve your loyalty, even when they get on your nerves, even when you don't agree, even when you feel frustrated. Because the truth is, if you won't cover your family, who will? People out there in the world will take any weakness they can find and turn it into a weapon. You give them that ammunition by sharing too much, and they'll use it to paint your family in a light that isn't true. And let's be honest, sometimes even when family is wrong, that's still your people. You can disagree behind closed doors, but you don't let the world disrespect them. That's why I tell folks, lock your family problems up like they treasure, because in a way they are. even the mess, even the dysfunction, even the drama. That's still part of your story, and it deserves respect. Keep it inside, protect it, and remember that not everyone needs to know what's going on in your house. The less people know, the more peace you'll have. And trust me, peace is priceless. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something real important. Money is one of the quickest ways to lose peace in your life if you start talking too much about it. I don't care how much you make, how little you make, or what you got saved up in the bank. The moment you start telling people your financial business, you open up a door you don't want to walk through. Because when people know what you've got, they start looking at you different. They either want a piece of it or they start judging you for not having enough. Either way, you lose. Now, here's what I've learned. People don't need to know how much money you make. Your paycheck, your savings, your investments. That's your business, not community property. The moment you let folks in on those details, they start forming opinions. If you're making good money, suddenly you become the family bank. Everybody got a request, everybody got a sob story, everybody got a bill that just needs a little help. You'll find yourself carrying responsibilities that were never yours to begin with, just because you let somebody know you had it. And on the other side, if you're not making a lot and you start sharing that, people start looking at you like you're less than. They don't respect your hustle. They don't see your effort. They just measure your worth by the numbers you told them. Suddenly, they treat you different, they talk down to you, or they use it as gossip. Money has a way of exposing people's real character. Not yours, but theirs. Let me explain something. Money should be handled with discretion. The richest people in the world don't walk around bragging about how much they got in their pockets. You think billionaires out here telling strangers the exact number sitting in their bank account? No, because they understand privacy is protection. If you want to protect your peace, if you want to protect your future, you keep your financial situation to yourself. Now, I know some of you may feel like you need to tell people so they understand what you're going through, but here's the problem. Not everybody is equipped to handle your truth. Some folks will take your honesty and twist it into envy. Some will smile at you, but secretly resent you. And let me tell you, envy is dangerous. People will sabotage opportunities, spread rumors, and root for your downfall just because they don't like the level you're at financially. Money is personal, money is private, and money is powerful. If you learn to keep it to yourself, you'll find a lot more freedom. You won't feel the pressure of people's expectations. You won't deal with the weight of everybody else's problems falling on your shoulders. You'll be able to make decisions for your life, your future, and your family without the noise of everybody else's opinion. And when you do bless somebody, when you do give, it'll come from the heart, not from obligation or guilt. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that I had to learn the hard way. Your dreams are delicate. When that vision first comes into your spirit, it's like a newborn baby. It's precious, it's beautiful, but it's also vulnerable. You can't hand it over to everybody and expect them to treat it with the same care and love that you have for it. Not everybody's going to understand it, and not everybody's going to believe in it. That's why you've got to guard your goals and dreams until they are strong enough to stand on their own. See, when you tell the wrong people about your vision too early, they'll talk you right out of it. They'll hit you with every reason why it won't work. They'll throw their doubts on top of your faith. They'll project their failures onto your future. And before you know it, you're questioning yourself, wondering if you really can do it. Not because you don't believe, but because you let somebody else plant their negativity in your soil. That's how dreams die, not because they weren't possible, but because they weren't protected. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you can't ever share your goals, but you've got to be wise about who you share them with. Some people are dream killers, plain and simple. They don't mean you well. They don't want to see you rise higher than them. They don't want to see you step into a new level. because it exposes the fact that they never chased their own calling. So instead of cheering you on, they'll discourage you. Instead of lifting you up, they'll try to pull you down to where they are. Your dream is your responsibility. It was given to you, not them. God didn't place that vision in their heart. He placed it in yours. That means only you can see it the way it was meant to be seen. Only you can feel the fire of it, and until you've built enough confidence, enough strength, and enough foundation to pursue it no matter what, you got to protect it like it's your treasure. And I'll tell you something else. Sometimes even the people closest to you can't see what you see. You'll tell your family and they'll shake their head. You'll tell your friends and they'll laugh at you. But here's what I know. When you finally make it happen, those same people will look at you with admiration, and some will even say, I always knew you could do it. That's why you don't let their opinions stop. You keep moving forward quietly, working behind the scenes, and when the results show, the results will speak louder than any explanation you could have given. Silence is powerful when it comes to your dreams. It gives you room to grow without distraction, to build without interference, to focus without doubt whispering in your ear. And when the time is right, when your dream has matured, when it's ready to face the world, you'll know. Until then, keep it safe, keep it sacred, and keep it between you and the God who gave it to you. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something straight up. Your intimate life is not everybody's business. I don't care if it's your relationship, your marriage, or who you're dating. The details of what goes on between you and your partner should stay right there between the two of you. The moment you start letting outsiders into the most private part of your life, you open the door for opinions, judgment, and gossip. And once people start running their mouth about your personal business, it's almost impossible to shut that door again. See, love is fragile, especially in the beginning stages. You're learning each other, you're building trust, you're figuring out how to navigate through disagreements, and that process is supposed to be sacred. But too many people run out and tell their friends, their coworkers, sometimes even strangers online, about every little thing happening in their relationship. And let me tell you, once you do that, you lose control over the narrative, because people only hear one side, they only catch the drama, and they form opinions that often outlast the situation itself. For example, you and your partner might have a heated argument one night. You're upset, so you call your friend and tell them everything that went wrong. A few days later, you and your partner make up, you move past it, and everything is back to normal. But guess what? Your friend didn't move on. They're still holding on to that argument, that negative image, and now every time they see your partner, they're looking at them sideways. You forgive him, but your friend hasn't, because they weren't part of the healing process. That's how bitterness and disrespect creep in, not because of what actually happened, but because you let the wrong people inside. Your intimate life should be your safe place. It should be the one area of your life where you don't feel the pressure of outside eyes. And when you protect that, you build respect. You build trust. Your partner knows that what happens between the two of you isn't going to be broadcasted to the world. That creates a bond that's stronger than gossip, stronger than judgment, stronger than temptation. Now, I'm not saying you should never seek advice. There are times when you might need wise counsel, somebody older, somebody experienced, maybe even a professional who can guide you. But that's different from spilling your business to everybody who will listen. Advice is about growth. Gossip is about attention. And when you confuse the two, your relationship pays the price. People love to have an opinion about things they don't live in. They'll criticize your partner, question your choices, or try to plant seeds of doubt in your mind. all because you gave them information they never should have had in the first place. Protect your love from that. Protect your partner from that. Some things are meant to be enjoyed privately, cherished privately, and fought for privately. When you keep your intimate life private, you create a bubble of peace that no outside force can easily penetrate. And in a world where everybody's posting everything, where privacy seems like a lost art, having something sacred, something just for the two of you, is more powerful than you realize. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this. Every single one of us has weaknesses. Every one of us has insecurities. There are things about ourselves we don't like. Struggles we fight in silence. Fears that keep us up at night. That's part of being human. But here's the thing. Just because you've got them doesn't mean the whole world needs to know about them. Because the truth is, not everybody you talk to wants to help you. Some folks are just waiting to find the crack in your armor so they can use it against you. See, when you tell the wrong person your insecurity, you give them a weapon. You may think you're just being vulnerable. You may think you're just being open. But if their heart isn't right, they'll turn around and use it as a way to control you, belittle you, or hold you back. That's why you got to be selective with who you open up to. Some people will act like they're listening, like they care, but deep down, they're collecting information. And one day, when things go sour, they'll bring up everything you shared, not to heal you, but to hurt you. I've seen people share their fears about not being good enough, not being smart enough, not being attractive enough. And instead of encouragement, they got laughed at, mocked, or talked about behind their back. That's why you can't just throw your insecurities out into the open. You've got to guard them like treasure, because in the wrong hands, they can become chains. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you should bottle everything up. There are moments when you need to share, moments when you need to let somebody help carry the weight. But those moments should be reserved for people who love you unconditionally, who have proven that they're trustworthy, people who want to build you, not break you. That might be a mentor, a lifelong friend, or somebody who's walked the road you're on and can truly give wisdom. But if the person you're sharing with is just curious, nosy, or negative, you're setting yourself up for more pain than healing. The truth is, when you put your weaknesses out there for everyone, the wrong folks will use them to define you. They'll put you in a box saying, oh, that's the person who struggles with this, or that's the one who's always insecure about that. And you'll find yourself stuck under labels that people created, not labels that God gave you. You are bigger than your insecurities. You are stronger than your weaknesses. And you are more valuable than the flaws you see in the mirror. But you'll never discover that if you keep handing over your soft spots to people who don't have the capacity to handle them. Privacy is protection. When you protect your insecurities, you give yourself the space to work on them without interference, without judgment, without somebody constantly reminding you of them. You can focus on growing stronger, on becoming better, without carrying the weight of other people's opinions. Some of the most powerful people you'll ever meet don't talk about their struggles to everyone. But that doesn't mean they don't have them. It means they've learned the wisdom of choosing the right time, the right place, and the right person to share with. So guard your heart, guard your mind, and guard your spirit. Not everybody deserves access to the most fragile parts of you. The wrong person will exploit them, but the right person will help you heal. And until you find that right person, it's better to keep it between you and God, because He won't use your weaknesses against you. He'll turn them into strength. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the greatest lessons I've ever learned in life is this: privacy is not weakness. Privacy is power. We live in a world right now where everybody feels like they've got to share everything. Folks can't eat a meal without posting it, can't buy a new pair of shoes without telling the whole internet, can't go through a struggle without broadcasting every detail of it. And then they wonder why they don't have peace. They wonder why their business is in the streets, why people are judging them, why they feel so drained. It's because they gave the world too much access to their life. See, when you learn to keep some things private, you take control back. You don't have to explain yourself to everybody. You don't have to justify your decisions, your moves, or your lifestyle. Privacy gives you room to breathe, room to grow, and room to protect what matters most to you. Not everybody needs to know your next step. Not everybody needs to know your struggles, and not everybody deserves to know your blessings. Some things are better left between you, the people you trust, and God. Now, let me tell you what privacy does. First, it brings peace. There's nothing more peaceful than knowing your life is not up for public debate. You're not worried about who's talking, who's judging, or who's misunderstanding you, because they don't have enough information to even form an opinion. When you keep certain parts of your life to yourself, you eliminate the noise and you can focus on what really matters. Second, privacy gives you power. People can't manipulate what they don't know. They can't attack what they can't see. They can't sabotage what they can't touch. When you keep your goals, your finances, your weaknesses, your relationships private, you rob the enemy of ammunition. Too many people are losing battles they should have won simply because they handed over their playbook. You don't have to do that. Keep your moves quiet until it's time for the world to see the results. And third, privacy gives you protection. It protects your relationships from outsiders who don't have your best interest. It protects your mind from negativity and doubt. It protects your dreams from people who would rather see you fail than succeed. Privacy is like a shield, and when you hold that shield up, you can walk through life without constantly worrying about arrows flying your way. I've seen people ruin opportunities, ruin relationships, and ruin their own peace because they shared too much too soon. And the sad part is, once that information is out there, you can't pull it back. That's why you've got to be intentional about what you share and who you share it with. Silence is not weakness. Keeping things to yourself is not secrecy, it's wisdom. The older I get, the more I understand that less is more. The less people know about your personal life, the happier you'll be. The less they know about your money, your goals, your private struggles, the freer you'll feel. Privacy allows you to walk with confidence, to live without apology, and to enjoy your blessings without the weight of the world's opinions. So guard it, respect it, and understand that privacy is not about hiding. It's about protecting your peace, your power, and your purpose.